Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
I'd much rather be a live coward than a dead hero. And with the area of uncertainty that we have here, how do I know what maybe there's a current, a little electrical charge which is being radiated by one of these vehicles, which would electrocute you if you got within a certain area of it. There was no sound whatsoever. I could not hear a bit of sound.
We are being observed by some type of device which is ahead of us, far ahead of us, and is probably controlled by a highly advanced superior civilization.
You know, there's sort of a nexus of disinformation and automatic truth factor that gets associated with anything UFO and ET. And that's been done since the 1950s by the CIA, and it's been very effective. So a lot of people don't want to lose their respectability by touching the UFO issue. That's just true. I mean, it's a psychological warfare, is the term used in the CIA doctrine I have from 1953.
That the Nazis secretly developed advanced flying craft towards the end of World War II, which were mistaken for UFOs by Allied aircraft.
Alien Strand Podcast.
Executives, Coastal Bend, and Corpus Christi, Texas. And you're listening to the Alien Strand Podcast with Donald Ledesma. Buying or selling, visit me at kellygreenrealtor.com or visit me on my Facebook page, Kelly Green Realtor. See you there.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. Yeah, we're back again. And I took about a week off, and you know, I'm doing this every other week. So just trying to get some material in, get everything going, you know, so that way we can have some nice material when we come back here since we've been back, and I appreciate everybody coming back and listening to the show. And like I said, if you can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, alienstrand.com. You can catch us on Twitter, on Tumblr, all those platforms. And we're also on 21 to 22 different sound platforms as well. So, I mean, you can catch us anywhere on here on Spreaker. You can catch us on, Spotify, iHeart. We're everywhere. Castbox, you name it. You know, we're out there. You know, and thank you guys for listening to the show. And I want to thank my past guests that have been on the show. We're going to have some more coming up soon. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can just give us a call at 361 361-245-8000. Again, that's 361-245-8000. You can just give me a call or just send me a message, and I'll get right back with you, okay? And we'll set you up for one of the shows, all right? And also, if you want to, instead of doing that, you can just go to Facebook and click the call now button there on the below, right there on our page, and you'll see it. It'll call me directly to my cell phone, and that way I can talk to you. We can get more into the story, and then we can bring it out to everybody else. All right, so you can do that as well. Also, if you want to listen to Alien Strand, you can catch us on our own platform. So we have our own. It's a player. Catch it on Google Play. You can go ahead and download that app. It's for free. Alien Strand paid it all, so that way it's free for everybody, okay? And you'll be able to catch all the new episodes that come out. You can catch all the past episodes and just go through them one by one, listen to it. Give us a like or a heart or a thumbs up on any of those platforms, so that way we can get some more material out to you guys, all right? So if you can, just do those things for us, and we'll get some really, really, really good material for you. I decided to talk about this episode. So we're in episode number 51, and we're calling it the Die Glocke, all right? And the only reason I'm bringing this up, and a good friend of mine, his name's Paul Wilborn. He's out in the UK, and he brought this to my attention. And I was already in the podcast before this one. I did the World War II one, right? Of the Foo Fighters. So this kind of fits in the same category of these sightings and this anomaly or object that these scientists, built and created. So this is a possibility that it could be true, or maybe not, or was this just made up, right? So I went ahead and just got the story together, and this is always for you to decide at the very end of this if you think that this was possibly made or not, and why was it made. That's the thing right there. That's the whole, I like to say, the whole enchilada, right? So we want to know exactly why this machine was made. So Die Glocke, the definition for that is it just means the bell in German. And the time frame we're looking at here is around 1943, somewhere around in November. Was this bell made for anti-gravity? Or was this some kind of free energy for them back then? Or could it just be rumors of a hoax? And that's what we're going to try to put together today, right? So in 2001, this author named Nick Cook described Wikowski's claims of the bell was glowing, rotating contraption rumored to have anti-gravitational properties, right? So this is coming from his book that he wrote. Or this could have been a time machine from SS anti-gravity program, right? Or could have this been a flying saucer that they were building, which we all see pictures of almost every day there on Facebook or Instagram, right? And they called this craft the Ripple sign. That was the name they gave to this flying saucer, right? Or UFO or craft. So the author, his name is Nick Cook. He wrote this book called The Hunt for 0 Point. And there was another author. His name was Igor Wikowski, right? So that's who we talked about. It was a Polish book. And he wrote it. It was called The Truth About a Wonder Weapon. They ended up calling the bell the Wonder Weapon after a while. because they were trying to figure out exactly what this thing was. And, they also had newly surfaced documents and interviews to confirm a secret Nazi space program. And I read a lot of documents and actually stories of this program that they talked about. They talked about this bell was used it was going to be used to fly to the moon or Mars or to go above the Earth's atmosphere. There's a lot of different stories about this. And why was this bell made in this shape, right? Why was it done this way? That's what we're trying to figure out. Why in the bell shape? And I'm going to give you the properties and dimensions of this craft or object that they built. So it had a hemispherical dome on the very top. It was made about 3 inches in thick ceramic. This was the outer bell. So they usually use ceramic for it was called high voltage porcelain insulation, right? Insulator. So they use that a lot in electricity. You'll see it up on the old telephone poles. They use porcelain for a lot of those properties to help insulate the energy that's inside of there. It was 9 feet in diameter and about 12 feet high. And it consumed a large amount of electrical power. And they said it glowed a violet blue when operated in short periods. So on the inside of this bell, it had 2 contra rotating drums on the inside. The bell, what's its energy source? What was it? Was this the source that was capable of powering sustained flight beyond our orbit? In other words, by this drum rotating in these 2 drums rotating in the inside, using this high voltage, electricity on this bell, with all these properties to make this bell, did they actually achieve anti-gravitational properties? There was a large magnet in the inside of this bell as well. So the materials they used was called light metal, right? Beryllium peroxide and thorium peroxide. And they said this material, or when it became thorium, that had an effect zone between 490 and 660 feet around this craft. So the perimeter around this craft, when this thing was activated, it gave off this blue light, and then things that were around it within 660 feet affected, right? What does that now these days that we have? Our X-ray machines, they still do it, right? They said that it would create formation of crystals within animal tissue. It would have decomposition of plant matter into a greasy substance. In other words, almost like melt that stuff down. Plants, grass, whatever was around, weeds. and it would have gelling and separation of blood as well. So they said it was powered by Serum 525, which emits thermal neutrons, right? And then it's absorbed by the thorium 232. And then it changes, right? It's a proactinium 233. So that's what it changes into. And then they said that mercury was spun inside of these drums. You always hear that in all these stories. If you go looking for the Die Glocke and what materials was used and what the main source that they always talked about was mercury. But they said the mercury released photons of plasma colliding with the energy of electrons with the photons, right? Which gives off gamma radiation, right? So when it gives off all that radiation, thus, what do we have, right? We have the formation of the crystals in the tissue, the decomposition of plants into greasy substance, gelling and separation of blood. And this was all happening after this whole process was taking effect while this thing was activated and turned on. You know, why did they make something like this, right? What was it used for? You know, the bell actually, the idea actually came in 1933 and in 1934. These ideas were already put out there. They just hadn't built it yet. So lo and behold, 10 years later, 1943, 1944, here we go, they start making this thing. So the bell was initially housed in a basement beneath a charity hospital in Berlin in 1943. So this was after it was already built. Then it was moved around until December of 1944 to an abandoned mine in Wenceslas mine. That's what it was called. They're in Poland. But this mine was already abandoned, before the war. So this was a perfect spot for them to take this bell into, supposedly, right? And what made it even a better place to house this bell was there was a power station right above the mine. Perfect for testing. And they say at least 4 of these devices had existed in this mine. And we all hear these stories that they tested this device. We see a couple of videos, but I don't know about them videos. I've seen a few of them, and what throws it off to me, if you really notice and you kind of look at that old footage on that bell that was floating, it zooms in and zooms out. They didn't have zoom in 1943 and 44. So that's what kind of throws that off as far as the video to me. Did it exist? Possibly. Did they shoot video of this or actually film reel of this? They might have. But I don't think we've really seen the real true footage of this bell if it was created in that sense. So they tested this bell. Very popular place. You'll see it on the History Channel. You'll see it on Gaia. You'll see it everywhere. Big old documentaries about this bell. It was called the Hinge. They're important in Poland. Very popular place there. There's a few documentaries out on it, on this place, and I'll add some links to this podcast for that documentary, so you could see for yourself where exactly this bell was energized, or where it took place, or where it was built. Supposedly, there's supposed to be a train full of gold that was buried down in these mines as well. I saw that story floating around here recently. You know, and there in those mines, there were many witnesses, right? But there was a lot of people that they couldn't find as well. And there was a few unverifiable witnesses that actually saw this bell. So one name was Jacob Spornberg. He was the police chief at the time in this town. We have Rudolf Schuster, which they gave an interrogation report on him in 1945. We have a Soviet plasma scientist, which is G.N. Frolov. We have Joachim Ebram. He was a railway employee. And we have Dr. Otto Cerny, which later became a NASA employee and mentioned the bell. And he mentioned that there was 2 witnesses that saw this bell activated. All these people I just read to you right now, very important people in this puzzle. Scientists, railway employee, future NASA employee, police chief. These are people that, they're up there. Now, and who would have a better knowledge of what exactly occurred and happened there in those mines? So there was a Argentine Economic Ministry report which was declassified in 1993, and it refers to the bell being uploaded in Argentina from a multi-engined German aircraft in May of 1945. So they moved this bell or bells, or dismembered these bells, and only took one.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
And I'm going to tell you what this other important person said, which actually adds to the puzzle here. So there was a gentleman, his name was Jacob Spornberg, and he was tried for war crimes. He was a Nazi SS, one of the highest commissioned ranks in the SS. And he gave details of the Nazi Bell Project, calling it the Die Glocke of top secrecy. And he admitted that the scientists, engineers, were all murdered to prevent them from disclosing any details of the technology with those outside of the program to the outside world. Very important person here who gave details about this Die Glocke. Which he says this is what they did to the scientists, to the engineers, to keep them from getting this information out, right? So they took all those people out of that equation to prevent anything going further from any of the other countries finding out this technology, right? They didn't want them to know. And I'm going to read to you, there's 2 letters here, very important. One of them's from a project engineer. He was an SS Nazi officer. And then we have one of a doctor, which was a possible scientist. So, and these 2 letters are going to conflict with each other, and I'm going to read it to you, okay? So the doctor, the engineer, Richard Kramer, from the and he claims, he says, Richard Kramer from the AEG Transformer Factory, together with Research Institute of AEG, is developing the project with regard to high voltage, which was commissioned by the Office of the Army Ordnance as a secret device for deciding the course of the war. And this is from the doctor. This other one comes from the Nazi officer. It says, realization of this project is half dependent on Kramer, who is only AEG qualified in this special field of electricity. Without the cooperation of Kramer, further implementation of this project is impossible. And he says, can we choose not to temporarily waive punishment? So this Nazi officer wanted Kramer taken out when the doctor actually saved him. The doctor was the counter letter, in which later we find out that a lot of these scientists came to the U.S. and helped develop the nuclear bomb. These scientists in Germany were way ahead of their time as far as technology and just figuring out neutrons, protons, everything that can make a bomb as well as something different. Did they stumble upon something different trying to make a bomb? In other words, were they just trying to make a bomb, but in fact they made something else, which was an energy device or an anti-gravitational device? That's why I question this as, was this an energy source bell of power, right? Was it going to be used to power up something? Or was it a time machine? As some theorists explain some on their stories. Or was this a flying machine with anti-gravitational properties? When it was activated, they said that the mercury that was inside of there, once it was started spinning, it would turn red. And you'll hear this in a lot of the stories, that the mercury was going to turn red because of the chemical exchanges with everything that's happening at the same time, right? Does it coincide? I don't know if you guys remember this, but in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, there was a similar object that crashed. And it looked exactly or like the bell, because they said the bell had engravings at the very bottom of the bell shape, right? So almost like petroglyphs, right? They said when this thing crashed in Pennsylvania, this object that looked like the bell, that it had petroglyphs all the way around it on the bottom half of this bell. I've posted pictures of it. They're on Alien Strand. I posted a few stories on that Pennsylvania incident on Alien Strand. Do these two stories coincide together with a Die Glocke? And where is this Die Glocke now? They said it's possibly in South America, or in the hands of the U.S. I mean, we already had the scientists. Why not have the bell too? Did they use those ideas of that energy to make the nuclear bomb a few years later? As we know, was a large impact on the war and ended the war and ended thousands of lives as well. But even when they saw the first explosion of the atomic bomb, he said, "Oh my God, what have we done?" Because they knew they created something that probably shouldn't have been created. Because that one thing could destroy us all. Just like the Die Glocke, right? And that's why I wanted to bring this story out to you guys, because, you know, I wanted you to get a sense of, was this craft or object made for an energy source? Was it a time machine or some kind of anti-gravitational machine that they probably built by accident? It's always up to you to decide. You can dig a little bit on this. I mean, there's a lot of red tape involved in this story. That's why you'll see that, there's a few stories of hoaxes, and there's a lot of stories of that this bell was an actual thing. There's too many witnesses. That's the thing. Too many witnesses that claimed and saw it. I mean, it's different if you heard it from one or two people, but you've got a slew of people already going down the chain of command, writing letters about this, trying to shut people up about this. So something did exist below this mine. And if it wasn't the bell, then what was it? And like I said, it's up to you to decide. At the very end, I thought this story was very important. It's just as important as the other UFO stories that I talk about and everything that's documented. And that's why I bring this out to you today, because it's documented. But it's documented and hidden away to where some things have surfaced already. So I hope you guys got a lot of good information on this story today. And what this machine was. And what it was about. And I'm glad you guys stuck around to get some good information here at Alien Strand. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for sticking around and listening to the show and waiting for me. And thank you for checking us out there on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and alienstrand.com. Check us out there. Don't forget to download our app that we have there. It's free. Google app. Put it on your tablet, even on your television, I believe. You can download it for your TV. You got a Roku TV? Download it. We're all over 22 platforms and some. Again, thank you guys for listening to the show. I really do appreciate you guys. Don't forget to catch our YouTube. I have a little video there. It's called Skinny Bob Chronicles. Check that out. Subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to make that one grow a little bit. But until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
What's up, everyone? This is Arizona Gallego, and you're listening to Alien Strand Podcast with Donald Ledesma. Check out my Facebook page at Arizona Secret Backyard. Give me a like, share, and follow. I'll see you there.
Wake up at Holiday Inn Express to a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. Count on all the hot, fresh coffee you need and an incredible breakfast buffet that has something for everyone, like eggs, cinnamon rolls, and even hot, fresh pancakes with all the toppings you crave. Next time, do yourself a favor and stay at a Holiday Inn Express with a can't-miss breakfast that's free with every stay. So, when you wake up at Holiday Inn Express, you'll wake up happy. A part of IHG Hotels and Resorts.